Hi, I have here a tutorial on how to complete the final spreadsheet, which is the same document we've been doing since week 6. So if you've completed everything through week 12, you'll have everything you need to be set up now to complete this final spreadsheet. So once you've opened up your very last spreadsheet, you're going to fill in an ideal day of eating compared to how you did eat for those 3 days. Here is somebody's spreadsheet, and I am now showing you what the final exam tab looks like. And I've already started adding some items here. This person took in an average of 1,000 calories. And here's other details that is coming from all the work that they did back in these previous weeks. It's also showing how they did in terms of above or below. If it says 0, 0, that means that they were right on in that category. 0, 0, that means that they didn't have any trans fats, which was the accurate way to measure right on. And the protein is not done because, as you remember, we did that outside of the spreadsheet. This area right here, I didn't mark it, but this is the area where you're going to put the range. Need for you to convert the percentage of the total you should eat into grams for me here so that I can see at the bottom of your spreadsheet if you were close. You can be within, I don't know, 20 grams below, above, or below, just so that it looks like you're aiming and your effort is there. And then the calorie intake should be according to the recommendation. If you look in your textbook at Appendix C for your gender and your age and your activity level. So pretending that I am a 20-year-old female and I am moderately active, I should be taking in 2,200 calories. So that's what I put here. I have put in yellow all the cells that I definitely need you to fill in, okay? What is over here to the right is the vitamin and mineral, and you don't need to do all of those. Just pick one of each, one vitamin and one mineral that you appear to be deficient. So let's just look and see. This person was below in vitamin A, vitamin E. So let's say that I wanted to improve my vitamin E intake. So I would pick items, I would look in the book at the vitamin section and I'd look for vitamin E, and then I would see what they say would be excellent sources of vitamin E, and then pick an item within that group and you type in your food item and you make it into a portion that's reasonable. I personally was going for improvement in my vitamin C, so I looked up 1/2 a cantaloupe, which would be about a cup, and I see all these items here, and I noticed that it's really good in vitamin C. It's got almost 100%, and it is all I need for vitamin A, so I think this is a really great food to pick to get close to my recommendation without having to eat a whole lot of food. So that's how I would attack this project. Include the right amount of water. I think only about 2 people in the whole class had the recommended amount of water per liters here at the end. So whether it be through food or whether it be through added beverages, please also pay attention to that. And yes, then your total should come in down here and be close. I also wanted to point out, if you were a person who was trying to work on the vitamin A total, something about the conversion process, just so that you don't get too panicked over how high your number came out. So for instance, I wanted to show you this. The cantaloupe happens to be an excellent source of vitamin A, but it says 100%, but it's also awfully inflated because it is measured in international units. And if you notice in the book, international units are different than micrograms. And so you also need to know that cantaloupe is beta-carotene, which is not actually retinol. So the number is high. The number here listed is in international units, although we do see that it is 100%. That's a good thing to know. In order to understand this in micrograms, you would have to first, according to the book, 1 IU in terms of beta carotene from plant foods should be multiplied by 3.6. So when I do that, 5276, 3.6, I get a pretty high number, but I have to divide it by 12 because, as it says here, on average 12 micrograms of beta carotene from food produce 1 microgram of retinol, and that's what we're aiming for. So let's divide it by 12, and now we're going to come back down to a reasonable number. So that would be the number you could place in the cell. I am not going to scrutinize this particular vitamin because it's a little complicated. I just wanted to show you that there's more to it than meets the eye. I would also like for you to know that it's important to put the range of grams in these areas so that you can know here at the bottom if you've met the range. So you'll have to do a little math here. And so if my calorie intake, recommended calorie intake is 2200, then I'm going to go ahead and going to take 220 and multiply it by the low percent, 45%, and I'm going to get 990, and I'm going to then try to find the grams by dividing it into 4, and now I see my low range for a 2200 calorie diet. The other number is 0.65 of the calorie intake, and that would be the kilograms, but I'm going to divide it by 4, and now I get 357. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for as I fill in my day of eating right here. Okay, I hope that that's clear. What I'd like to do now is just quickly visit back into the class roughly what's going on here for the final exam to help you understand and plan for what you want to do. I have 2 options and an extra credit. Option 1, the cooking video. Option 2 is a meal development from your final exam spreadsheet. And I have an example of what somebody's done in the class. It's kind of nice if you add a picture of your meal in case you cook it. And you're not really into doing the big production of a cooking video, but the cooking video is pretty cool because it's something that outlives you past the class, because I would really like to post them in iTunes U. I have directions on all of that inside the depository. I have examples here, some that I've done, an example of Alton Brown, and all the specifics on creating it. And if you think about it a little bit ahead, you could go home and cook it, or team up with somebody. It would be okay if you had 2 people per group, no more than 3. Absolutely 3 would be the limit. And then if you wanted to, you could get an extra 5 points to join a blog that I've created for all my classes that include nutrition. And here's the instructions for joining the blog and getting that extra 5 points. So if you do want to get that extra credit, you can take a picture at the same time as you create your video, or if you make a meal and just talk about the recipe here, take a picture of it and save it so that you can post it right here in the blog that I've set up. I hope you'll go explore around in here to figure out what you want to do and make a plan on what's best for you according to all your resources. Once you have finished your cooking video, you will place it here in the cooking video link. And here you will write down details on who was with you, what did you do, and why it was healthy. You can also, I would also like to see why it was healthy or how you think it was healthy and what's in the food here in your actual video. And I'm looking forward to your demonstration of what you've learned in the class through your final spreadsheet and whichever option you pick for the final.